What is going on, Alpha Hunters? It is a terrific Tuesday, or tubular Tuesday, or some other T word with a Tuesday. And we're not really seeing much action on the market. We did see a nice little bullish pop here, after the first 30 minutes of the trading day. We did have a little bit of a gap down again today. Gap down not even about 0.1%, not even really. A little bit of a trade lower in the first 30 minutes. And then, yeah, we had a very nice strong run here for about an hour and a half, a little bit over an hour and a half up to the daily highs. What's interesting about this is I'll get into that. This is a very interesting move. And then, yeah, we just kind of came back down for an hour and a half. Been a little bit bullish here over the past 40 minutes. A little bit of a sell down here recently, so we'll see what happens over this hour. But the market's starting to it's either resting or it's starting to turn over the past couple days from some of the price action we've seen. So, kind of dive into a few things that seem to be rather interesting. Qs, nice little gap down, quick bounce on the open, rolled back over. Very much also got in on that like hour and a half or so bullish run there on the Qs. Nice roll over here. Qs are actually showing some pretty good signs of weakness. And that's over past few days. Even into today, it's still showing some of that. So, IWM getting back below this 180 level, running up to it today, hitting into it. Okay. Kind of looks like the Qs and the SPY. But a little bit more bearish here on the IWM. The DIA, nice day here on the DIA. Actually, it's been positive pretty much all day, except for a little bit of time here on the open. Most of the day's been pretty much positive. So the DIA looking pretty good there. RSP also doing pretty good throughout the day. Kind of looks like the SPY in some cases. A little bit of a gap down. Didn't really trade lower. Just crazy first 5 minutes there, but not super liquid here on the RSP. Nice little run there as well in the mid morning. All right, let's take a look at the dailies. How we're looking on the daily. So this is what I mean by past couple of days. We're setting up some pretty good bearishness. We got a nice little doji last week, Thanksgiving week on Wednesday. Even got one on Tuesday. Obviously, Friday is a really short trading day. Not really much going on there. But yeah, we just had like 2 days of dojis last Tuesday, Wednesday. And I get it. It's kind of a holiday week. Not really much going on. And we got a nice little upper wick on a gap down on Monday, yesterday. Well, we got another upper wick today. Today's even so far, it's even larger than yesterday's, right? I mean, we took out Friday and Monday with today's upper wick. So we'll see where we close today. But if we come back down and close at the lower ends of today, kind of like we did yesterday, we'll probably just make at least a quick move down to the 10 EMA. Probably happens tomorrow, I'd imagine. So it'd be very curious to see how things kind of set up. Now, the other thing that's kind of interesting is that as you look at the Qs and you notice the SPY taking out the 2 previous days of highs, it did not take out last week's high on Wednesday. Last week's high on Wednesday, we got up to 456.38. Today, we got to 456.27. So we missed it. So far, we've missed it by about 11 pennies. So interesting. Qs, though. Qs have not taken out yesterday's high. So, yeah, they haven't even gotten close back to last week's high. And so we do have a little bit of a switch here, back-to-back days, where Qs are making lower highs compared to the SPY making higher highs. Even though those are just wicks and we've sold down from those highs. So, yeah, kind of interesting look there. And if we do end probably at the lower ends of today, I would imagine the SPY and Qs probably at least just come check into that 10 EMA tomorrow. Probably makes the most sense. And if it happens really early tomorrow, I expect a bounce there. It might be, maybe it happens intraday. You know, if maybe it happens in the first hour of the day, we bounce there, and then maybe we roll over later. I don't know. Maybe we bounce there and keep running for a few days. It'd be interesting to see kind of how that shapes up. But just expect buying off that 10 EMA, as it'd be the first time we've actually hit it since basically November 1st. So, IWM's having a really hard time getting through this level. Past 2 days, you're kind of wanting to see it continue up with this, these lower highs that were kind of coming in here. You can see like little pizza wedge getting formed there, but yesterday we kind of breached below this trend line. And today, obviously, it looks like we're definitely going to get below, probably even close below that trend line. So, IWM seems like it wants to roll over. It's kind of just the way it looks. Kind of just get that feel that it just wants to roll over. So we'll see what happens here on the IWM over the next couple of days. DIA on the daily, nice little upper wick there. DIA has been stronger on the days, getting back up to these August highs, August, July, late July highs. The DIA has actually been very impressive in this run this month. The DIA has been really good ever since that low they put in on October 27th. Been very impressive. RSP been a little bit better than the IWM. IWM and RSP, even though they're made up of different stocks and all that kind of stuff, but RSP and IWM kind of trade and kind of track together, but not here recently, not here over the past like week or two. And so maybe we are seeing a broadening out into the other S&P 500 stocks that aren't just the big, the big 7, the big 8, big 10, or whatever you want to call them. So yeah, the RSP doesn't look bad. I'm not saying it's going to lead to like a drop off. I think, and I've kind of been mentioning this for the past few months, that I think the opportunity is into other areas, not big tech. It is what it is. It doesn't work all the time, but I mean, me saying that wasn't really just like over the next week or two. I'm kind of talking about more of like next year, maybe 2 years, 3 years, something like that. Okay, so yesterday we saw transports get shellacked pretty good. I don't really look at the IYT all that much, but we did see that the transports are getting hit pretty good. Still down today, throwing a little bit of a lower weight, kind of coming into that 10 EMA there. I'd keep an eye on this because transports being super bearish is not exactly a great indicator for the economic activity and that kind of stuff. So we'll see how transports, how are they doing today? Old Dominion Freight Line's down pretty good, but looks like UPS is bouncing back a little bit today. So is UPS. Or not, UNP's bouncing back pretty good today. So rails seem like they're not crushing it today. They're just kind of flat. They're not really doing a whole lot. So, okay. VIX. The VIX. Look at that. Is that wick real? So we just had a... Really? So the VIX spiked when we got this sharp move down. Let me go to a 1 minute. So right here at this time, we had a pretty sharp move down in the SPY. SP500. Yeah, I mean, it looked like a full body. Yeah, I don't really know how much I believe it because it wasn't like multiple minutes up there and back down. It was all there in 1 minute. I don't know. Kind of interesting. Look there on the VIX. So I don't really know how much I trust that wick. What's really interesting here on the VIX though, so I'm gonna stop right here. I don't really typically get into too much looking at the VIX and all that, but we have seen the VIX break the lows of the year, right? And we haven't seen the SPY make new highs of the year yet, and that's kind of the interesting thing, right? So let me do this. I'm gonna add in SPX on top of this. So SPX. Let me do that. There we go. So let me get the vertical line. Where's the vertical line? Vertical line. So I'm gonna put on here all the times where we've made. I gotta click it every time. Where we basically had lows on the VIX and what we've seen on price action after that. Now we just made a new low on the VIX, right? Friday. And one of the things that's very interesting that you kind of see going back, this one was kind of a difficult one to really kind of assess. As I mean, really we're just kind of in this huge uptrend, but we weren't really dropping off on the VIX anymore. And then we get to this point where we made then a little bit of a low there on the VIX, and it was kind of the topping of the market. This one, we kind of were getting back down to those lows again, kind of a little bit of a topping of the market, kind of a little bit of a pullback. And then the VIX dropped off again, made a new low, and then we saw the bearishness like really creep in. So even from this time period that we had in early mid September to the end of July, like you can see, as we made lower lows on the VIX, well, we were making lower highs also. So it's just kind of an interesting situation that we got here where we made more lows on the VIX and we haven't even taken out that July high yet. And yeah, I'm not quite sure. It's probably going to take a couple more days to really kind of see how this sets up. Because if we keep just dropping on the VIX, but we keep pushing higher, I mean, obviously it won't be as big of a deal. But I think it's a rather interesting situation that we do have lower highs on the VIX, but we haven't taken out the previous highs on the S&P 500, on the SPX. So just something to be, I guess, mindful of is, for how much volatility or, perceived risk has dropped off. And yeah, just kind of an interesting one there. Just wanted to point that out. Take a look at the dollar. Let me get rid of the SPX. There we go. All right, so dollar dropping off pretty good. Okay, so it's making its way downtown. I'm not going to sing for you. It is getting close to that 102.60 level. It hasn't quite gotten there. And why that's important? Why that's important is that is the fib retracement to about the 62% level. So I would say for the most part, I'd be looking to just go and just scale out of it, start getting out of it. It has come down to this little consolidation that we had back in early August. So makes sense to probably just be scaling out of that. Go ahead and be getting out. Probably goes a little bit lower, really gets into that 102.60 to 102.50 level probably tomorrow. Maybe it does it by the end of the day today. It might even do it overnight. So gold, look at that. Move on gold. Gold looking good. So I kind of thought it would come back. I thought it would go a little bit lower than what it did, but I mean, it made sense that you were probably getting bullish off of that. Yeah. Gold doing things. Very strong day though on the GLD there. 10-year yield. All right, so I'm going to talk about yields also. We just looked at dollar a little bit. All right, so the two things that have put a lot of pressure on equities in the markets throughout, the summer, the late summer, early fall kind of time frame was yields and dollar, right? And dollar had a nice strong run from mid July to basically the beginning of October. Yields basically been grinding higher ever since the regional banking issue that kind of happened back in March. Nice little bottom there in April, and it just kind of went on a nice little run to the end of October. And the market absolutely took off flying when the yields started really getting crushed here at the beginning of November. And you can take a look at the SPY. I mean, we were already into the beginning of a move, and then yields started to drop, and it just went into the stratosphere, right? So the SPX, the SP 500 stocks did very well over the month of November. Yields have been coming down. So here's the issue though. We are no longer seeing that, right? We're seeing the Qs, the SPY, they're flat to downish. They were like that yesterday, and yields are still dropping. Yields had a really bad day yesterday, and equities weren't really like flying high. So I like this interaction that we actually are getting to this top. Also, I liked breaking this low, and here on the 10-year yield. So I don't know. It's just yields are not putting pressure on equities, and equities aren't going higher. So that's kind of just where I'm like, did all the money already flow into the market? Like, did everything go into the market so quickly and so fast that maybe we're not going to see anything else push it higher? I don't know. Kind of interesting. Seeing some of this. So 10-year yield dropping off here. We can take a look at some of the others, but 10 and 2 invert. So here's another one. So 10 and 2 inversion. It's like, so we're seeing the 10-year yield dropping off, but we're seeing the 10 and 2 inversion tick higher. Well, the only reason why you're getting this strong of a move on the 10 and 2 inversion is because the 2-year, right? The 2-year is dropping off that hard. I didn't even have to pull up the chart to know how much the 2 years dropping off super hard, just because you understand that relationship. But man, look at that drop in the 2-year. Jesus. Let me go intraday, see if it happened at a particular time. Did we get some data this morning? Did we get jolts? That's about the same time we would normally get jolts. No, it's not. Jolts we get usually 30 minutes after the market opens. I don't know what happened here. An hour after the market opened? Did it? I don't really have anything on my list over here. So, I don't know. Kind of interesting. Definitely had some pretty good bearishness on, bearishness on the 2-year. Basically throughout the night, and then we definitely got some as we got into this morning trading. So 2-year yield dropping off pretty good, and this might be causing people in the market to be kind of cautious, as like it's not great for yields to just drop off super sharp, because it basically means the economic activity is so bad that the Fed's going to have to drop the Fed funds rate to kind of help stimulate economic activity. So yeah, the 10 and 2 inversion popping pretty good. That's 10-year yields dropping, but I mean that's nothing compared to what the 2-year yield was dropping. What is the 30-year? I just want to take a look at what long term's doing. Long term's kind of flat, not really doing a whole lot, staying steady right there around 4.5. Not really doing anything crazy. Okay. HYG, nice push higher. Yields coming back down a little bit. And I believe HYG is a little bit more tracked to shorter term yields. So that makes sense. LQD. Investment grade stuff. Nice push higher. Okay. TLT. Again, TLT's down. You know, the 20-year, it mostly tracks the longer term, the 20 and 30-year. Not really doing anything crazy. You know, those the 30-year was flat, so I'd imagine the 20-year is kind of flat-ish, maybe up a little bit, but the TLT not really doing anything of substantial move higher like the HYG. Okay, I'm gonna take a look at sector rotation. I'd imagine everything kind of flat, but we'll see. Man, I don't really know. Okay, so where are we at? There we go. There we go. So discretionaries had a pretty. Hold on. Utilities had a strong pop to the day. Strong pop to start the day. Real estate also outperforming. Utilities, discretionaries, staples, energies, materials, all outperforming there. XLC communications in line with the market. Financials, tech, industrials, healthcare all underperforming. Okay, if we take out the gap, any major gaps? Real estate not looking too bad. Real estate not looking too bad there intraday. Where were they with the gap? Yeah, they're days top performers mostly. Um, Mostly had looks like a little bit of a gap down. Trading pretty good there for the XLRE there. Utilities, discretionaries, materials, energy, staples, communications, financials outperforming. Tech, industrials, healthcare underperforming. Okay. All right. That's a quick rundown of what's going on in the market today. Let's